It is the year 2021. Today we'll be talking about new reveals and new listings for Transformers Legacy. Good morning, and thank you everybody once again for another interesting video. So today we're going to be catching up on some of these new spoilers and leaks that have been coming out about new figures that are destined for 2022. And I know that I've been really lagging behind on these listings, but they are just flying off of the rumor pages that I've been frequenting. So there's so much stuff that is rumored and so many things that have been leaked. It's really hard to keep track of all of this stuff, but I figured this would be a good time before we begin what is presumably a new trilogy, that we should catch up on the first things that are coming out, which are very exciting. So it looks like Legacy is shaping up to be something similar in the vein to the Thrilling 30s figures that we got back in, I think that was back in 2014, possibly 15. My dates might be a little bit off there, but basically before we had these trilogies that had a story-centered narrative going on, like Combiner Wars and Power of the Primes and Titan's Return were all part of the same trilogy. It looks like we're going to be looking at sort of like a kind of like a Royal Rumble of different lines from the Transformers history, which is kind of exciting. It's also a bit of a question mark as to where exactly the toys are headed into the future. This might be one of those cases where Hasbro has figured, we had some good ideas in the past. We're not really going to be able to squeeze any of those into what we have imagined into the foreseeable future. So let's just give the fans a little bit of, the guys that have not been able to find a place into the rest of the story. And we're going to be seeing things that are from Transformers Energon, Transformers, the season 5 from the Japanese series. We're going to be seeing some stuff from Transformers Prime. So let's get the preamble now out of the way and just talk about the figures. So first off, there's a core class Bumblebee movie, Ravage. So we're going to have Ravage as he was depicted from the Bumblebee movie. So that'll be pretty nice. There's also going to be a Transformers movie 7 Wheelie core figure. I think it's probably going to be the same character as we saw from maybe Dark of the Moon, that Wheelie with the googly eyes there for the movies. There's also going to be a Dark of the Moon Laserbeak, also core class. So more core class figures. These are looking to be kind of like the new go-to legend scale for a lot of these things, which is interesting because the Studio Series is not known for having anything that is under a deluxe price point. So this is the first time we're going to be having Studio Series things that are in that scale. Now we're also going to get core classes for what is listed here as Movie 86 Rumble and Movie 86 Ratchet. So interesting. We're probably going to see a Rumble that is going to be able to transform into a cassette tape that'll probably slide right into the next Blaster figure that'll be coming out. And I'm assuming we're going to also get a Soundwave in the 86 line. So having Rumble makes a lot of sense. Not so much with Ratchet, though, because Ratchet is going to be core class, I think, for the first time. So it'll be interesting to see what the engineering is like for that guy. He just might look like the G1 Ratchet pretty much. Next, there's going to be a core class Energon Monster. I really have no idea what this could be. It could be just about anything. It could be something from G1. It could be something from literally the cartoon Energon. It could be something from there. It could be something that is taking the place of all the weaponizers and fossilizers. It could literally be anything. I don't recall ever there being a character called Energon Monsters, so this one is pretty much a mystery. Then we're going to have Core Soundwave, which I think it's safe to assume that this is going to be a repack from the Kingdom Soundwave, so we'll see that guy return. Deluxe Silver Streak. So I'm not really familiar with that name in particular, so you're going to have to excuse me. I just don't know that character. At first I thought it might be Silverbolt, so we haven't gotten any of the Transmetal guys having a reissue. Silverbolt was a Fusor that came out when the Transmetals were originally released in Beast Wars, but I don't think that's what this is. So then we're going to have Deluxe Kickback, one of the original 3 Insecticons. So this makes perfect sense. I don't know which series it's going to be released from. Is it going to be 86? Is it going to be Legacy? I'm not sure yet. But if we're getting Kickback, we're eventually going to get Bombshell and always forget the other guy. Shrapnel? Yeah, that's it. So we're eventually going to get all of those guys at some point, and they're probably going to look even nicer than the ones that we got from the Combiner Wars trilogy. And then here we have Deluxe Drag Strip. This one is interesting because it means that we're getting one of the limbs to Menasor, which means that we're going to get all of the Menasor limbs, including a new Motor Master, which I heard is going to be in Commander class size. And if that is the case, then we might be seeing the re-emergence of a new set of combiners that are going to be even better and more interestingly engineered than the previous combiners from years past, which is pretty exciting there. I think that a commander for the leader of the combiner team and having Drag Strip and all the other Stunticons being Deluxe class does maybe that will offer some better interesting combinations so that the proportions would look better. It'll be able to probably pose a lot more interestingly. So I'm pretty excited about that. Then we have Deluxe Skids. From what I understand, this is probably going to be taking that mold of the vehicle from that Jurassic Park homage set, and they're just going to rework that park vehicle into Skids, or maybe Skids was the original mold and they also use it for the homage to Jurassic Park. Next, there's Deluxe Tarantulas. So we're finishing up all of the original Season 1 Beast Wars characters. Tarantulas, of course, you can't do it without Tarantulas. And along with that, we're going to have Voyager Inferno, which is probably going to be the Beast Wars character, as opposed to another release of the G1 fire truck. And it's great because we're going to have that spooky laughing character, and this is probably going to be his first new real incarnation since his original toy was released, so good for that. Can't wait for that. Voyager Blaster. This is a very interesting one because if we're getting Blaster, that means that we're eventually going to be seeing all of the tapes, or most of them. So he had Eject Rewind. I think it's Ramhorn and Steeljaw. I think he might have others, but those are the ones that I remember. And along with that, we're probably going to see new versions of the Decepticon cassettes too. Ratbat, Rumble, Frenzy, Laserbeak, Buzzsaw. We never got a Buzzsaw from Siege or the War for Cybertron series. But we're not done with 2021 yet, so we'll see. Next, Voyager Armada Starscream. So this is the second Armada figure that's ever been dropped or cited in any shape or form. We had the Armada Optimus Prime seen at events where they had the all gray model completed, but then nobody heard anything about it since then. So now we have Armada Starscream pretty much confirmed. It likely means that we're going to be seeing a very Armada heavy series in Legacy, which is great. It's really interesting and very fun to know that these toys are getting not reissues, but modern updates, because that was a line that was very good when it comes to toys. The toys were very well engineered, and it'll be interesting to see how these modern interpretations come out. Then we have Voyager Bulkhead. Bulkhead was a character from Transformers Prime, I believe. He was, or animated, I think. Might have been in both. Unfortunately, I did not see those series. I might have seen a few episodes, but I remember Bulkhead was in one of the animated cartoon things. And he was a fan favorite, a really big, cool-looking guy. So it'll be interesting what he ends up looking like. I have no idea. I have no prediction as to how that'll come out. Not just yet. But as you can start to see, we're getting things from Prime, we're getting things from Armada. It's kind of like a grab bag of all kinds of things. Beast Wars is still a thing. Here we have Leader Dragon TM2 Megatron. I'm not entirely sure, but my money would be that this is Transmetals 2 Megatron, because that's what makes the most sense to me anyway. This one, I don't know. It's the name, that's what my mind goes to when I hear TM2 for Megatron Leader Class Dragon. But, we haven't seen any of the Transmetal characters make an appearance. This would be the first one that might get a modern toy. So, unless you want to count that one Transmutate, but that didn't, I don't know. Transmetals they haven't really touched on, so if they release this, that means that we might get more Transmetals in the future. So we'll just have to wait and see on this one. Then we have RC that is listed with a price tag of $22.99. That is the deluxe pricing usually, and so I'm not sure what kind of RC it's going to be. Chances are it's going to be another G1 type of RC, but it would be nice if they had a Transformers Prime version of RC. Something different, something to just change things up a little bit. Then we have an Optimus Prime at $9.99. It's probably a repack of the core class figure from Kingdom. Optimus Prime at $49.99. That's your leader class price point. Could be anything. Optimus Prime is always something different in every new series that they come up with. Galvatron, same thing, $49.99. Although this could be the Armada Galvatron, which was actually called Gigatron in Japan. So that might not be a reissue of the Kingdom Galvatron. We might get a totally different engineering for that one. Then there's Starscream at $29.99. Hard to say what this is. Soundwave $26.99. And Soundwave at $29.99. This makes me think that these are from different things other than Legacy. One could be a Soundwave from Studio Series 86, and one of them could be from Legacy. The Starscream could be in Legacy, or it could be in 86. It could be a Starscream from Prime. No telling whatsoever. But we do know that they're not really fitting neatly into the Voyager price points, so it'll just be interesting what these end up being. Deluxe Class Energon Monster. So we did talk about this before, but maybe this is listed here again. $29.99. So it's a deluxe figure. Core Class Iguanas. This is interesting. $9.99. So, yeah, core class. We might be getting Iguanas as the pretender figure. I think that makes a lot of sense versus Iguanas from Beast Wars. Iguanas wasn't a character that appeared in the show. Iguanas was a toy from Beast Wars, but didn't appear in the show. So I'm inclined to believe that this might be a continuation of the pretender gimmick that we saw in Power of the Primes. We had things like Quintus Prime and Micronus Prime and all the other little Prime guys inside of armor that was modeled after, Bludgeon and things like that. So Iguanus is most likely going to be a pretender shell character, and I think he turned into a motorcycle originally, so maybe that's going to be involved with the other Armada characters in some way. Like maybe there's going to be a little mini-con inside of Iguanus. Maybe that's the angle they're going for. I don't know. But more pretenders would be interesting. It would be a good reason to recollect all of the other pretender shells. I know that they were unpopular. I do feel like these extra gimmicks are not very interesting when they're first released because people don't really know like how to integrate them into the rest of their toy shelf. But I kind of like that they're trying something new and something different. So this one has got my interest definitely. Cork Glass Shockwave. There's 2 price points, but they're both listed with Cork Class Shockwave here, so I don't know if there's an incorrect listing here. I'm assuming this is just Shockwave, but in Core Class, and somebody got the pricing wrong here on this list. So Shockwave is probably going to turn into the purple laser pistol from G1, I'm assuming. And then we have Core Class Skywarp, which is probably going to be a repaint of the Starscream that we got in Kingdom, most likely. And I think there's actually a little bit more. Voyager Jaxus. Jaxus was a comic book character. Don't really know a ton about him, other than he is a pretty important character in the comics. Deluxe Wild Rider. Wild Rider is one of the limbs for Menasor. So again, we're probably going to see one of the deluxes released per wave to complete that Menasor combiner. Deluxe Point Blank. Hey, Point Blank is one of the original Target Masters, one of the Autobot ones. We've seen the Decepticon ones like Slugslinger, like Misfire and so forth, but we haven't seen many of the Autobot Target Masters, with the exception of Crosshairs. So Point Blank being released is pretty cool. And he's got a good design too. I know that there's people who are gonna say that, well, Hot Rod and Cyclonus were also Target Masters. Yes, technically, but it's not like they weren't really designed for that when they were originally introduced as characters. They eventually acquired their Target Master partners, whereas Slugslinger, Crosshairs, Point Blank, they were all designed originally to have Target Masters with them. So if we're getting Point Blank, chances are we will probably see the rest of the Autobot Target Master partners in the future, which is nice. It'll be a good little standoff, a good little display to have all the Target Masters up on the shelf. Deluxe Crankcase. I do not really remember this character, but apparently he was in G1 at some point as one of those trigger gimmick guys that you press a button somewhere and weapons pop out. Kind of makes sense, I guess, because it's looking like it's going to be a lot of Beast Wars stuff and a lot of Armada gimmick type stuff that is going to be in Legacy. So more trigger release things kind of makes sense, although you don't really see a whole lot of trigger mechanics in these figures anymore. So what Crankcase might end up being is a guess, along with everything else. We don't really know what kind of theme is really at work here. It just kind of looks like there is no particular overarching theme. It just looks like a combination of all kinds of things. And lastly, this is the one that I've heard. It's not quite as confirmed as the other ones. As far as rumors go, I haven't seen any of those leaks where this has been found on the Target system at all. This is where most of these leaks have been coming from, is people who have been paying attention to the prices that are released through Target.com. And so that's how they're getting these confirmations. What I've heard is that there's going to be a new Titan class, and its name is going to be Cybertron Metroplex, which could be one of a couple things. It could be a Metroplex that is designed to look like G1, and I don't know, the Cybertron thing could just be that he's got Cybertronic elements in his design, or it could be based off of an actual character toy released in Energon or Armada, called Cybertron Metroplex, who wasn't as tall. It wasn't as big of a toy, but it had the name of Metroplex, and he was called Cybertron Metroplex when it was released. It makes a lot of sense that this would be the second option, because again, a lot of Armada characters, Cybertron Metroplex fits that theme right there. So if it ends up being that guy, it wouldn't surprise me. Although I kind of wish that they would just do a full new, a brand new Metroplex, a new G1 styled Metroplex with modern engineering, because even though we have the one from the very beginning of the Combiner Wars series, that Metroplex is kind of looking a bit, rough around the edges at this point. It's really kind of behind. It is looking like a much older toy, but at this point. So a new one would be greatly appreciated, although that may not change in the future. We may not see a modern G1 Metroplex for a long time. This could just be Armada or Energon, whatever the series was that this guy appeared in. That's what we might be getting. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys as far as rumors go. I'm only going to talk a little bit more about the recent Hasbro Pulse reveals that had been announced, which were the King Coronation Starscream, and the other two, which was a Studio Series Perceptor. And lastly, we had a new Sweeps, which is basically just a repaint of the Scourge figure from '86. Different open and closed hands and slightly brighter blue color scheme. You do get pretty much everything that came with the Scourge from the Studio 86, including the blast effect and the gun, so you can finally make his Armada complete. For the Coronation Starscream, you get a few new accessories actually. You get these shoulder pauldrons, a cape, which is posable slightly, and a throne, which is made to resemble the throne that was seen on the deck of the Nemesis when the Decepticons were piloting that ship. So Coronation Starscream is very cool. It's using the Earthrise Earth mode jet for the base, and then he's got a couple of add-ons like the crown, the pauldrons, and the cape. And also the hands are remolded so that they can open and have more dramatic posing, which is great. So it's a really awesome figure, and it feels like you could use that throne for just about any character. You could give that throne to Megatron if you wanted to, and it will look really cool. So, really amazing set of reveals. Perceptor was the one that I like the most, since it's a new modern Perceptor, although it didn't really look that different from the Titans Return Perceptor, honestly. And like if you were to probably stack them side by side, it would only look like the new one, the new Perceptor, is got a bit of a belly. And that's probably the only real difference you're going to see. There's no surprises with how he transforms or anything. It's pretty much Titan's Return Perceptor, just with slightly better engineering. And sometimes that's fine. So that's pretty much everything, guys. I hope you guys are really excited and are contemplating what else is going to be revealed around the corner. What do you guys think that they might release here in 2022? Do you think we're going to get more Armada figures? Do you think that they're going to continue the Beast Wars line? It's an exciting time to be collecting Transformers again. It feels like literally anything could come out. Me, personally, I hope that they just continue to do Headmasters and that they release a new Overlord, honestly. Because I like, all these new things that are coming out, and it's just getting my hopes up that we might get some better figures of these guys. So, what a time. All right, guys. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. See you next time.